Hello everyone. War is a defeat of the humanity. These are words by Pope John Paul II, and these words appear to be very true from the news of war happening between Israel and Iran. War happened on Thursday, the 19th of June. Israel alleges that Iran fired a missile with cluster bomb warhead on a civilian area. So this happened on a civilian area at an altitude of 23,000 feet across a radius of 8 kilometers, scattering about 20 bomblets. Do you know, or have you ever thought, what are the consequences of a cluster bomb? To answer this question, you first need to know what is a cluster bomb and how it works. What is a cluster bomb? A cluster bomb consists of a hollow shell which can lodge 2 to 2,000 submunitions or bomblets. Now, these bomblets can vary in shape and size, which forms different kinds of cluster bombs. Now, if the aim or the target is to kill people or the military troops, then they are called anti-personnel, or if it's aimed to destroy or damage vehicles, they are called anti-tank. Now, this is a cluster bomb. Now, how is it delivered? A cluster bomb is delivered by 4 different means. It could be by aircraft, rocket, a ground-based system, or artillery shells. Now, once delivered, how does it work? Now, once delivered in the air, it breaks open in mid-air and releases or scatters submunitions or bomblets. Now, these bomblets go over or spread across the intended area, and they are intended to explode on impact. Now, the major problem associated with cluster bomb is that they are not guided towards the target, which means they are not precision guided. This is how a cluster bomb works. Now, what is the major consequence of cluster bomb? History shows that a large proportion of the cluster bombing or the submunitions, they fail to explode on impact. The failure rate is 10 to 40%. This means once scattered over the targeted area, they remain there unexploded. This poses a serious threat to the civilians returning back home after war, because these unexploded submunitions may often explode when handled or disturbed. This also makes vital subsistence activities like farming hazardous for hundreds, thousands, and decades of years. As said before, this is not precision guided. So submunitions are greatly affected by weather. So once scattered, and if they are affected by the weather, they may hit areas outside target. Do you know when and how was the first cluster bomb made? The first significantly operated cluster bomb was German SD-2 called butterfly bomb, and this was actively used during World War II, aimed to attack both civilians and military targets. Now, at least 34 countries have produced 210 different kinds of cluster munitions. This includes projectiles, dispensers, bombs, aircraft, rocket, and much more. Whilst some countries have stopped production and usage of cluster bomb, other countries are actively producing and using it, and there are some other countries that have got stockpiling of cluster bomb from the past, while they may no longer use or produce it. Is there any law which could prevent the usage of cluster bomb? The Convention of Cluster Munitions that started in 2008 is an international treaty between or more than 100 countries. Now, this treaty prohibits and strictly bans the usage, production, transfer, and stockpiling of cluster munitions. But not all countries are a part of the treaty, and unfortunately, both Israel and Iran are not a part of the treaty. War begins in the mind of man is a popular phrase. Every war is a result of human perceptions, attitude, and thoughts. To attain long-lasting peace, the underlying causes need to be addressed. Reiterating the words by Golda Meir, the only alternative to war is peace, and the only road to peace is negotiation. Have a great think about it.